So welcome back to Outdoors with the Morgans. It is Sunday, July 14th, and it's about 6 p.m. right now. So that means 24 hours ago, I was at the Trump rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. And we all know what happened there. It was an ugly, ugly night. It really was. And when I got home from there, we did a live stream, and I just kind of went over what I knew at the time, which, to be honest, wasn't much. Because being there, you didn't really know what was happening. You know, there was thousands and thousands of people. But my main takeaway, and I mentioned this several times last night, is when the police told everyone to evacuate, you know, they're all yelling and waving their arms. Everybody did so in an orderly fashion. There was no pushing or shoving, no every man for himself. People helping some of the older folks, people passing out waters. It was a very hot day, and it was very organized and a very polite crowd. It was. And everyone just kind of wandered off to their vehicles. People were parked literally miles around. But like I said, I got home, we did a live stream. I didn't know all the details. I don't think anybody did at the time. And I stayed up real late last night. I was kind of all keyed up, and I talked to different people on the phone that were there. And I started looking on the internet, and what I quickly discovered is probably the same thing many of you figured out as well. It was the security plan was just an epic failure. It was a disaster. It really was. We'll go over all that in a minute. We're going to go up to the house right now. I have some footage from yesterday, and I will walk you through our whole experience at the Trump rally, and we can talk about what went wrong. And even though I'm not an expert, everyone's going to agree a lot went wrong. All right, this is a aerial view, obviously, of the farm show grounds. It's this area in here. There's a little airport right here, one runway. We parked for the event over on this road here. I think this is called Christ Road. So we found a place to park here, but there were cars everywhere over in these fields. I mean, people were everywhere. We got there kind of late, came up here, found a spot right here. We parked here. So then we had to walk across this Buttercup Road right here, come over here, and then you come in here by the airport. And this was all filled with cars. They had shut the airport down for the day. So we start walking up through here, and that's where the video is going to begin. So right here, we're walking parallel to the runway. And like I said, this entire area here was filled with cars. Right now, we're getting a little bit closer. But we're still walking parallel to the runway. They had a lot of, you know, shirts, hats, flags, all that kind of stuff all through this area, the whole way up to where we kind of got in line for security. The line stopped a couple times on and off, and I didn't know if we were going to make it in time. But then this is the actual line for security. They just kept zigzagging people with ropes up, and I don't know, it took maybe a half hour to get through security at that point. This is the security tent right here. They had a lot of people working it, got everyone through pretty quick, and then we started walking towards the rally. But I'll give you an idea where everything is. We'll go back to that aerial view of everything, and you'll have a better understanding. So the security area is right here. I don't know if you can see that arrow, and the actual rally was over here, in front of these three buildings, stage right there. All right, so this is about where we were standing, and I slowed the video down so you could kind of see. But that's looking back towards the runway, back that direction. Okay, we're going to come back around towards where the stage is and where President Trump was going to speak underneath that flag. You can see the water tower in that building right there. Remember where that is. I'll show you the aerial view in a minute. Here's another shot. So we're about 7,500 yards, I'd guess, in front of the stage. Now, if you go over here to the left, you're going to see that water tower again and those two buildings. And you see those two poles? Those are cell phone towers. So keep that in mind. Those are the cell phone towers. All right, so you remember the water tower. That's up here in the upper right-hand corner. Cell phone towers right here. So from that last video that I just showed you, we were somewhere right in this area, right here. And this was all people. There's a fence line over here. This is the property boundary for the farm show. Goes all the way out to the highway. But there were people everywhere in here, up in here. So we're standing right about here, okay? President Trump, this is a stage right here. They had some grandstands behind it. So he was probably standing right in this area behind a podium right here. Well, the shooter was at this building right here, right outside the fence. So all of these thousands of people, they all go through security. Anyone could come over here next to this fence. Now, there were police everywhere, hundreds of police, Secret Service, armored personnel trucks. I mean, they had it all, but they didn't have anybody on this roof or anywhere in this area. There were a couple snipers on this building right here. Now, a lot of news media, they were showing that they were on this building. That's not the case. They were over here. President here, the shooter right here. Now, somehow, this guy got to this location with police all over the place with a rifle. And I guess there's a ladder somewhere on this building. You can't walk through here. These buildings are connected. So he probably came in from this side or this side. But he was somewhere right about here on that building. And I want to show you something that's really disturbing. All right, so like I said, cell phone towers, we were right in here somewhere. President was right here. The shooter was on this building right here. So we're going to use a measuring tool here. He was right about there. President Trump was right about, let's say here. 414 feet away. 414 feet. They somehow, I don't know how it happened. And there were people all in this area up here yelling to the police and pointing that there was a guy with a rifle climbed up on this building. And we just got news a little bit ago. The AP reported on it. So take it for what it's worth. But they said a local cop did climb up the ladder. I don't know where the ladder is, and confront the shooter. The shooter pointed his rifle at him, and the cop retreated. That's what they're saying on the news. I don't know if it's true or not, but the point is this. This is all relatively flat ground. You know, it rolls a little here and there, but if you were looking at this from a security standpoint, this is not like you're in a major city and, you know, you're looking at 20 different skyscrapers and all the windows that could be a threat. This is a kind of a rural area. Stage right here, you know, the first thing you would notice would be, okay, here's an elevated position right over here at these buildings right here. I mean, that would be the first thing, in my opinion. Or the water tower. I was kind of surprised they didn't have a guy on the water tower. It would have gave him, or a couple guys, it would have gave him a really good field of view of this whole area here. And, you know, like I said, there were police all over the place here. People telling the police that there's a guy with a rifle up here, and somehow he got 6 or 8 shots off of. I've heard different reports. I heard 4 initial ones and then 2 more. And then later on last night, I heard a video. There was a lot more than that, but you couldn't hear it with all the commotion. But I don't know, just a total epic failure from a security standpoint. Maybe I watched, you know, too many movies back in the day, but you would think if you're worried about a shooter, they would have at least 800, if not 1,000-yard secure zone around President Trump. And they somehow, a 20-year-old punk with a gun got up on this building right here and killed an innocent man at the rally as he was trying to shoot President Trump. It just, a total failure. And like I said, now they're already talking about more security. They need more security for these things. My opinion, they had plenty of people there. They just weren't doing their job. I mean, that's kind of harsh, but, if you have twice as many people not doing their job, what's the difference? You know what I mean? They totally dropped the ball on this. And I blame the idiot that was on this roof. Don't get me wrong. But when your sole responsibility job is to protect that guy right here, they all failed. Now, this is the part I wanted to get to. For President Trump to have the presence of mind right after he was shot at and hit in the ear, to regain his composure, and he made sure that he raised that fist in the air. This is just an incredible moment. It really is.